Hello everyone, what's up? Welcome to my channel. We are doing a live video today on the topic dive into Python with Bikalpa, and we're building a YouTube subscriber counter app. So how are you all guys doing? Is my audio clear and video clear, please? It's been already more than 2 months of lockdown in Nepal here and in the city where I live. So I thought of doing something interesting so that new beginner Python programmers would find it beneficial. Hello Gaurav, how are you? Is my audio clear? Okay, so beginning with today's session, I'll first of all try to orient you about the stream. So today's session will be beginners friendly. That means I expect that you have some background in programming in general, like in other languages like C, C++, Java or something. But no prior background in programming languages is also satisfactory, it's fine. Today we'll start with the beginner concepts of Python programming language, and we will basically build a momentum to use REST API provided by YouTube to fetch the subscriber count to a particular YouTube channel, and then we will build a small GUI app just to display that subscriber count, and we will test it live on the stream. So due to this being a very short session, maybe around 2 to 3 hours, I will just begin by assuming that you already have Python installed in your machine. If you do not have, I will give you a link in the description to install the Python interpreter as well as Visual Studio Code. But I recommend you using online IDE, which I will also be using online IDE, so that you will not have to install it locally. It will save some time here. You can install it locally after this stream is over. So since this is my first time in live stream, I might be quite quick at some places, or I might be missing some explanation of the topics. So if you guys have any problems, please comment on the chat box. I will try to answer you, and I will try to make this as original as possible. I will try to explain to you the exact thing going on my mind. How am I thinking? How am I trying to approach to a particular problem? And I want to make this as original as well as interesting as possible. So let us wait for some more friends. Suman Khadga, all good. Hello Suman. Kendra Regmi, he's commenting about my hair. Actually, this is my brand new haircut. I did it myself actually. Sanjeev says good to go. Yes, okay. Gautam Tamang, hello Gautam. I love India, love from India. Hello brother, love from Nepal too. Sankar Gimire, hello Sankar. Okay, I have made a small a topic kind of thing right here, if you can see. Okay, today's session will go in this order. First of all, we will go into introduction of Python and setting up environment for running Python. Then we will discuss some fundamental programming structs using Python, and then data structures in Python like list, tuples, dictionaries, and stuffs. Functions and classes after that. Will not delve too much into object-oriented programming, but then we will just grab basic concept-oriented programming in Python. Then we will discuss package installation using pip, and then importing the installed packages. Then we will discuss what JSON data format is and how can we work with it in Python, and then making HTTP requests, the basic of HTTP requests, and working with it in Python. And then we will discuss what REST API is and how can we do API programming in Python. And then we will discuss about 2 methods of fetching data from a particular website by using API as well as by using scraping. We will not go into scraping, but for your information, I will tell what is the difference between those two. And then we will try to explore YouTube Data API version 3, which I will explain you some of the endpoints. And then I will try to show you how to fetch the subscribers of a YouTube channel, and then we will build a small CLI app that runs on the console to display the count in real time. Then we will discuss something about a Kinter library, that is a GUI library. We will build a desktop app too, and then we will build a very small primitive kind of just displaying a subscriber kind of app, and then finally we will have Q&A as well as ask me anything session. So here Sankar Gimire says hello. Vivek Pata says hello brother. Afzal says hello Dai, hello brother, how are you? Sankar Gimire, nice looking, thank you Sankar. Sudeep Podal says just started learning Python, still interested to see this. Actually Sudeep, this will be totally beginners friendly, so you can just go with it on the way, you know. I will teach you about very basic from the Python, so you will not have any problems understanding the topics. Indian Jojo says, can you speak in Hindi? I'm sorry brother, I can't speak in Hindi right here because I have audience from various countries, Nepal as well as United States and other European countries too. So I'll try to make it as versatile as possible, and then as English is a language that everyone understands, I will be streaming in English. By the way, my English is not that good, so please bear with that. I'm sorry from the start. Okay, I'll take it here. So let's begin about discussing about the Python programming language. Python programming language has been one of the most popular programming languages out there. You know, if you go and search Google for most popular languages in the world in 2020, let's type it most. Oh, don't forget to put programming languages, right? Because languages in general is not what we are trying to see. Okay, we can see Java, JavaScript and Python. These three languages are at the top of everything, you know. We can use Python to build native apps. We can native apps, by native app I mean in desktop, Linux, and then Mac OS, etc. I haven't used and I haven't seen Python being used in the mobile app, native app development, but we may not be far from there too. But then desktop app development and web app development, as well as other scripting, and then network programming, IoT programming, Arduino, Raspberry Pi, etc. Yeah, Python is very popular programming language. And then if we are talking about the versions of Python here, there are two versions of Python. One is Python 2 and the other is Python 3. But we are using Python 3 in this session because Python 3 is more popular, as well as it is the more referred way. It is Python 2 has already been deprecated. By deprecated, I mean that the developers of Python have already said that do not use Python 2 now. You have to shift to Python 3 because we will not support it now. Yeah, from January 1st, 2020, they have deprecated Python 2. This can be a very good question in technical interviews, mark that. Indian Judge says, thanks brother. Thank you, welcome brother. And then we are going to not install Python in this video because that will take much time. You may have a separate operating system, I may have separate operating system, and then teaching to install them will take around 1 or 2 hours or so. So what I'll do is, I assume you already have Python installed in your machine, but if you don't, then I will recommend you use online IDE. The one I use all the time is Repl.it IDE. You can just type Repl.it IDE, and then here it is. Yeah, Repl.it IDE. If you don't have account there, just create an account. It is just one click away. You can create account via Google account too. And then I will just do new Repl, and then I will select the language as Python. I just give the name as YouTube subscribers, and finally create REPL. Okay, this will basically create an REPL. Technically speaking, it will create an REPL. That means it will create an online IDE for us to work on. First of all, what I recommend doing is what every developer should do is that you go to settings here and then select the theme to dark, because yeah, dark theme is awesome. We don't want to use the light theme. Okay, this is our online IDE. We will be using this IDE if you don't have Python installed in your machine. But how do you know if you have Python 3 installed in your machine? For that, you have to open your terminal. Okay, terminal in Windows you call it command prompt. You have to open command prompt, and in Linux as well as in macOS you call it terminal. There you have to type Python --version, Python 2 hyphens and version. In case the version of Python installed is 2 point something, that means Python 2 is installed here. You can do Python 3 version. This will give you the version of Python installed in your machine. In case if you have installed in your machine, if you don't have, then it will say Python 3 is not recognized, or this is not a command, you cannot do that, or something like that. It will show an error message. So if you have Python 3 installed in your machine, then you are good to go. And if you do not have, then you can use Repl.it IDE for the purpose of this video. Let us read the comments here. Technotrad says, you look handsome, sir. Thank you, brother. Vivek Dakal says, great, brother. Thank you. Okay, let's dive into further. Okay, one of the very features in Python programming languages is basically, first of all, I'll tell you how this IDE works. Okay, what the different parts of this IDE mean. So here, this part, the one where you can write code, this is actually a code editor. You can write your source code here. The Python code you write will be written here. Okay, and then on the right side you have Python shell, or you can simply treat it as a terminal. If you do Python version here. Oh, sorry, it is actually in the Python shell. Okay, you are inside a Python shell, because Python can be run in interpreter mode as well as in script mode, right? In this right side of the screen, you can see the Python shell in interpreter mode. So if you type any command here, that command will directly be interpreted by the Python interpreter. Okay, this is the Python interpreter, this right side. If you put something in the code and try to run it and expect an output, your output will be displayed here on the right side. Okay, and on the left side you have files tab. Here you will basically be shown what files you have been opening right now. Right now I have a file called main.py. Actually every Python file will have an extension of .py. If you have an extension .py, that means you are writing a Python file. Okay, so this will be created by default by Repl.it IDE. For now I will just try to delete it. I don't know how can I delete it. Right click, no. How do I delete it? I don't know. Let us leave that for a moment. So first of the thing we will do in every programming language is to print a particular message, right? A message to the user. So how can we print some message to the user using Python? Well, Python is very known for its short syntax. We can do everything quite shortly in Python. The same code, if you write in C or C++ or Java, it may take you around 30 to 40 lines, but the same code you can just write in Python in just 2 or 3 lines. Okay, so to print something to the console, you have to use a command, a function called print, and then give an opening parenthesis and a closing parenthesis. That's basically calling the print function. And then as a string, as a text, the text you want to print to the screen, you have to provide it inside the single quotes. Okay, so if I say that welcome to Bikalpa quotes, and if I run it, then it will basically run on the right side and then print welcome to Bikalpa quotes on the console. Okay, everything you do write in code will be written here, and your output will be displayed on the right side. So yeah, congratulations, you have just been a Python programmer, official Python programmer, because whenever you write the first code in Python, and then you are a Python programmer. Let us read some comments here. SP Shanto says top paid course in free. Thanks. Thank you for your love. Afjil says I have to go somewhere, so I have to miss this awesome opportunity. I'm gonna watch later. So okay, no problem, brother. It will be on the YouTube for free, public on the YouTube, so you can watch it anytime. Actually, the benefit of having it on YouTube is that if you miss something right now on the live stream, you can always go back and see that video and cover on. Okay, so let us move forward. Okay, here I told that to run, to press a button and then your program just ran. Okay, but what if you actually had a code editor and then you wanted to run the program from the terminal itself, from the command prompt itself? Okay, so for that you have to just open a program, open your Python code. For example, I have Visual Studio Code Editor here right now. You can use any editor you like, but Visual Studio Code is simply the best. It is open source, it is free, it supports multiple languages, it supports extensions. Yeah, it's awesome. So I will just create one program here, program.py. It is right now empty. If I write print and then write welcome to Bikalpa quotes, I'm just trying to teach you how to run this program manually. Okay, if I write this and save this, now program.py will contain one line. That line says print welcome to Bikalpa quotes. You can use Notepad here, you can use anything here. Okay, anything that can write text. So then I have to go to my terminal, and then I have to browse where my Python file is. Okay, my Python file right now is inside desktop and inside YouTube sub count folder. And if I do ls here, I can see program.py listed here. Okay, for Windows user you have to do dir. Okay, now if I have program.py here, how will I run the program.py Python file? So you have to do Python space program.py. First of all, you write the Python command name and then program.py. But for me, I have to type Python 3 program.py because the Python by default means Python 2 for me, because I have Python 2 as well as Python 3 installed in my machine. So to explicitly say Python 3, to use Python 3 version, I have to say Python 3 space program.py. And then here you can see it says welcome to Bikalpa quotes. Okay, that is how you run a Python script manually. But thanks to Repl.it IDE, we can just click run and then our program will run fine. Krinder Regmi says awesome Dai, thank you. Dipesh Chaudhary, Mazedar bro, thank you Dipesh. How are you all guys? Life and Gan says love from Delhi. Hello Life and Gan brother, thank you. Love from Nepal. Okay, after printing hello world, let us start formally beginning programming with Python. Okay, So first of all, whenever we are trying to learn a programming language, we have to learn about variables. Okay. So whenever I talk about new topics, I will create a new file like this, add file, and then give the file of the name of the file. I will say it variables.py. Actually, you have to end it with .py, right, to tell it is a Python file. After that, a new file gets created. Then I will write the code related to variables here. So okay. First of all, we will try to declare a variable. In Python, we call Python a dynamically typed language. You know, the difference between statically typed language and dynamically typed language is important here. If you are from background of Java, C++ or C, you have statically typed language there. You have to declare the type of the variable before you can actually define it or declare it. You know, if you are going to store an integer with it, you have to say int something, a variable name. If you are going to store a double or floating point number, you have to say float and then a number. But in Python, since Python is a dynamically typed language, you can just omit the data type, you know, and the Python interpreter will actually assume the type of the variable to be the first type it is assigned to, right? If you don't understand it, I will do it here. Suppose I have a variable, okay, is a variable name, and I assign to it 23. That means is a variable now, and it holds the value of 23. So now if I want to print age, then what I can do is I will just write print, and inside the brackets I will put age. If I run it, okay, sorry, actually it is running the main.py file, you know, it is the entry point, right? So I will just paste it here and run it. Okay, it says 23, you know, because I have printed 23. Okay, so if I try to do my name equals to, name is a variable name, and then I assign it, whenever I have to put some text in the variable, I have to use double quotes or single quote, you know. I will say Bikalpa, and then I want to print name, so I will do print name, and I run it. 23 Bikalpa. First of all, in the third line it prints 23, in the fourth line it prints Bikalpa. For example, if I try to print father here, what will happen? First of all, it will print 23, and then only it will give error, right? This is because Python is interpreted language. The commands are executed line by line. First of all, line number 1 is executed, it is fine, there is no error in it, so it is executed. In the line number 2, there is no error, so line number 2 is also executed. Now comes to the line number 3. Line number 3 is also executed because there is no error, so print age will work here, and then 23 is printed. But when the control comes to the line number 4, then father is not defined anywhere. We have not said father equals to something, right? Because we have only defined name variable, but we have not defined father variable. So this will give us an error because father is not defined. But 23 gets printed. Even if it is error, 23 gets printed because the print age is on the third line. It is before when the error occurs. So in the interpreted language, whenever the error occurs, you will find it whenever the control reaches that line, okay? You will not find it in compile time. You will only find it on the runtime. Okay, then suppose I want to print something like I am 23 years old. Okay, I want to print that kind of message. Then how can you do that? Basically, in Python we have several ways to do that. I will tell you some of the ways. Okay, so first way is that I will just type print, and then inside the double quotes I will say I am. I come out of that text and then put a comma, and then put age here. The age is holding 23, and then again comma, and years old. This will basically print I am and space the comma will actually put a space there, the value of age, which is 23, and then again a space, and then years old. If I run it, we can clearly see I am 23 years old. The method number 2 is we write print, and then inside the text I say I am years old, and where we require the value of age to be substituted, we actually do a curly bracket open and curly bracket close. We are basically creating a blank space here, okay, so that we will fill that blank space later on. And after that, after this double quote is finished, I will do dot format, and then another bracket open and close. I will pass age. This will basically format this this text by substituting age into the blank space. Okay, if I run this, then I will have I am 23 years old printed 2 times. You know, basically you may have confusion whenever we have more than one brackets are opening and closing. Okay, in any programming language, basically in Python also, whenever you open a bracket, you have to close a bracket corresponding to it, right? So whenever you open this bracket, you have to close it by this bracket. Yes, and whenever you close this bracket, you have to close it by this bracket. You opened a bracket here after the format, and you have to close the bracket here. So I have opened 1, 2 parentheses, and so I have to close it by 1 and 2 parentheses. So there is another method that I can print this message. Actually, it works on Python version 3.6 plus only. The version of the Python should be more than 3.6. Actually, what you can do is print, and then you type F, and then the double quotes, and inside here you will do I am, and inside the curly brackets you do is years old. This will basically insert the value of age into this blank space, you know. In the line previous to this, we had actually used format function, but actually we don't have to use that too. If we are using the Python version 3.6 plus, we can just basically do F, and then open the double quotes, and then whatever we want to substitute there, we put the variable name. Okay, if I do I am name years old, then this will print I am Bikalpa years old, you know, because the name, the value of the name is substituted there. Okay, and finally, if you are C, C++ or Java programmer, you may recognize this. I can do print I am %d years old, and finally after that string I can do percentage and then age. What this will do is %d is a format specified for an integer number, so %d will create a blank space, age is going to fill it. Okay, these are various ways we can just do the same thing in Python, you know. So you do not have to follow the same thing I am doing here. You can do it by various ways. That's the thing I'm trying to say here. Manbish says very nice bro. Vivek Takal says, can you share? Sorry, I was going to say, can you zoom a bit? Okay, sorry for that. I'll zoom it. I think it is visible now, right? Vivek, is this visible now? Okay, right now here we are declaring a variable name and assigning to it, right? But in Python, we do not have to declare the variables in these 2 lines also. You can declare the variable in a single line. To do that, you can just do age is comma name equals to 23 comma Bikalpa, right? This is also the same thing, because whenever you put comma and then you assign, the first value will go to the first variable, the second value will go to the second variable. So the type of the data we are storing in the age, actually age variable is of type integer. There are various data types in Python. We will discuss them now. The first type is the integer type, where you can store integer number, positive integers, negative integers, as well as 0. But then next data type is the floating point data type, float data type. The float data type is something like rate equals to 45.5. You actually have a decimal point there. Something like percentage equals to 92.45. Okay, you can give the variable names whatever you want, but what I'm trying to say is if you have a decimal point here, this type will be a floating point type, but we don't have to say float percentage equals to 92.45. And one thing you might have noticed, we do not put a semicolon at the end of this statement in Python. We need not put the semicolon. If I say rate equals to 45.5, 45.5 will be copied to rate. If I say percentage equals to 92.45, 92.45 will be copied to percentage. Similarly, if I want to comment this code, I will just put hash character in front of it. Hash, 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 hash. Basically what I'm doing is I am commenting this code. If I put hash in front of a line, that line will not get executed when I run. These 4 print statements will not get executed. If you want to block comment a code, if you select a part of code and then you want to comment all of it, you can do control key followed by control key with /, like this. What I'm doing here is control and /. Again control and /. Okay, we talked about floating point type 2, and the next basic data type is the Boolean type. Boolean data type means you can store either true or false value with it. Suppose I say is over equals to true. The true is a keyword here. It means something is true. It is a fact. You have to write a capital T here, and you can say is starting equals to false, something like that. Okay, is over is a variable name. True is its value. It can take 2 values, either true or false, so that it is a Boolean data type. Boolean means either it can be true or it can be false. Dipesh Chaudhary says, yes, it is clearly visible now. Great, thank you. Life and again, thanks for Zoom. Python is lit. They kept every possible way to code in a single programming so that people would prefer Python. Exactly. Python is awesome, brother. It is my favorite programming language. Good. John Smith says, love from California. Hello, brother. Love from Nepal. Sobalamichani says, good going. John Smith says, anyone American here? Is anyone American here except John Smith? Please reply to him. Manbish says, yes, bro. Okay. Okay, let us continue. Okay, this is the Boolean data type, right? So these are primitive types in Python. So a while back I had said that we can run Python in interpreted mode as well as script mode, right? Right now in the right part of the screen you can see something like greater than sign and then a cursor, right? This is the Python interpreter. You can actually talk with the interpreter directly from here. If I type print and then do something like hello, it will basically say hello. That means we can write each Python statement there, and that will be executed line by line. You are basically talking with the interpreter, having a dialogue with the interpreter. You give a command and it immediately runs it. You give an instruction, it immediately runs it. Okay, suppose I can say age equals to 45, and then it will just stay silently because it has already understood age is equals to 45. I think I have to put something like do not disturb here. Anyway, and then if I say print age, now it remembers I had said that age equals to 45 previously, so it will print 45. Okay, let's talk about some of the operators in Python. Okay, the primitive operators are just plus, minus, multiplication, division. I will just show them in short. If you do 12 plus 45, it will give you 57 because plus means addition. 12 minus 56, this will give you minus 44, that is subtraction. 45 times 6 will give you 270, that is multiplication, and 45 divided by 6, that will give you 7.5, that is division. But if you want to divide the floor division, by integer, I mean if you want to divide and then ignore the decimal points, you can just do 45 and 2 forward slashes and then 6. That will give you 7 only, because 2 forward slashes means you are dividing in terms of floor division. Also in Python, the Python is awesome because it has raised to the power exponential operator built in. You can just do 12 and asterisk asterisk and then 2, that means 12 squared. Yeah, 12 times 12. You can do 6 cube. To do 6 cube, I will do 6 and then raised to the power. 2 asterisk means raised to the power. 6 raised to the power 3, it is equals to 216. If you want to divide a number by another number and then know what the remainder is, I can do 123 percentage 2. That means I divide 123 by 2, and what is the remainder? The remainder is 1. It is modulo operator. Okay, we have already discussed about the Boolean data type. Let us do true equals to true. What will it give? It will give true, because true is always equals to true. But if I say true equals to false, it will give me false, because true is not equals to false. Okay, talking about the relational operators, if I say 3 is less than 5, it will say true, because 3 is in fact less than 5. If I say 3 is greater than 5, it will say 3 is greater than 5 is false. Okay, if I say 5 is less than equals to 5, it is true, because we have equals to here, less than or equals to. Similarly, if we want to connect two Boolean data types together, we can do something like 4 is less than 5, and the and is a keyword here, 5 is greater than 6. This will say me false, because it has two parts. 4 is less than 5 is true, but 5 is greater than 6 is false. And whenever you say and, you want both of the parts to be true, both of the parts to be fact, so this will be false. But if you say 5 is less than 6, then this will be true, because 4 is less than 5 is also true, 5 is less than 6 is also true. If you want to get the previously entered expression, you just have to press arrow up key like this. Okay. Okay, then these are some of the very basic data types, but I haven't talked about some types like name equals to Bikalpa, right? It is a text. So what will we call a text data type in Python? It is called string. So a string is a type of data where you store some text. If I say name equals to Bikalpa, name is a string. If I say address equals to Nepal, then Nepal is a string literal which is assigned to a variable called address. So address now is a string. To define a string, you can actually put the text inside the double quotes as well as single quotes. For example, if I say nickname equals to something like John, this is also valid because we are enclosing it inside a single quote. Single quote is also valid, double quote is also valid. There are special kinds of strings which are called multi-line strings. They can be actually defined like m string equals to 3 double quotes, and then we write anything we want here, and finally 3 double quotes. You start with 3 double quotes and you end with 3 double quotes. This is also a valid string. This string can be divided into many lines, multi-line strings. Okay, if I copy this and go to main, I paste it here. Oh, sorry, not here. Here, I paste it here, and then I say print m string. M string is a variable, and I print it. What will happen? Basically, m string will be printed. Okay, and another thing you have to understand is there is nothing like character in Python. Okay, there is no separate data type for characters in Python. Characters are also strings. They are also a string that contain only one character. Okay, so if you say ch equals to a, then a is also a string. Yeah, ch is a string variable. You can do ch equals to ab, ab is also a string. If you put nothing here, just starting single quote and an ending single quote, this is still a string, but that string is empty. Okay, let us try name equals to Bikalpa, and let us try to print name. This will basically print my name, right? But if I do Bikalpa and then a square bracket, inside square bracket I provide 0, this will print B. That means it will print the string or the character at the 0th index. You know, the indexing always starts from 0. So B is at the index 0, I is at the index 1, K is at 2, A is 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I say index of 6, then this will give me this A. I run it. Yeah. If I say index 5, that means it will give me P. Okay. Let us say that I have a very large string, right? And now I want to fetch the last character from it. So for that, I do not have to count how many characters are there. I can just do name, and then inside the square bracket I will do -1. -1 means the index from last. You know, L is for -1, K is -2, G is -3, -4, -5. So negative indexing is also possible in Python strings. You have to index in negative when you start from the last. Santosh Pahari says nice. Thank you. Last one downside, not seen clearly. Last one not visible, brother. Oh, I'm sorry. I think my window size is doing that trick here. Okay, I think it will be visible now. I'm sorry for that. Okay, basically what I did was I was just printing the relational operators result, right? So true and true is true, and true and false is false, and something like that. That was basic concept. That doesn't even matter. Okay, so I have indexed from the negative. Okay, and now I want to do something like slicing. Okay, character slicing. So if I do new str equals to name, and then I do something like 2 is to 3, I will put something sensible here, Bikalpa, and then I print new str. what will this do? This will print K. If I do 2 is to 5 here, it will print KAL. So you can clearly see we can slice a string by using this syntax. This basically means we want a new string which will contain the substring of name from index 2, that means 0, 1, 2, from K up to index 5, but not including 5. Up to index 5, but not including 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means it will give me KAL, because it will not include the index 5. It will not include P. It will be only up to 4. The last index is not inclusive, it is exclusive, but the first index is inclusive. So KAL only. If I have to take up to P, then I have to say 2 is to 6. That will give me KALP. If I omit the first index, just do is to 6, then this will give me, it is running slowly. Let us read the comment. Vivek Dagal says, does negative index work in other programming languages? Not in C, not in C++, not in Java. They do not work there. Those are only programming languages I have worked, I have experience on so far. So yeah, if I do is to 6, then this will give me BIKALP. That means if you omit the first index, it will say the substring starting from the first, from the index 0 up to the index 6, but not including the index 6. That means BIKALP. If I do something like 3 is to and then put nothing here, then what will happen? This means start from the index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then go up to the end, okay, up to the end of the string. That means ALPA. Okay, in this way you can slice a string into a new substring. That was about string slicing. Okay, now let us see some of the methods inside the string actually available in Python. Okay, if I do print name.upper, when you do dot upper, you have to put a set of parentheses with it. What will it print? It will print Bikalpa in uppercase, capital letters, you know. So to convert a string to a capital letters, you just have to do dot upper. I can actually do dot upper here. Python is that awesome, you know. And just print name. That will also print Bikalpa in uppercase. But I will not do it there. I will do it down here. If I say print name dot lower, that means convert the string into lowercase. The second one is in lowercase. This capital B is also made lowercase. Suppose I say this is my house. For now this is uppercase and this is lowercase. If I want to capitalize the first letter in the string, I can do print name dot capitalize. This means the first letter in my string will be capitalized, you know, the T is capitalized, right? Okay, what if I do name dot title? Let us try. Print name dot title and then a set of parentheses. If I do that, this will capitalize every word in my string. This T is capital, I is capital, M is capital, and H is capital. Okay guys, please provide a live feedback to me also. Okay, so yeah, these are the methods available in a string library. I can do something like string.strip, you know. If I have so much of spaces after or beginning in my string, suppose I have this type of string and I want to print name.strip, strip means you have to take out all the spaces, you know, white spaces. This will actually take out all the white spaces before and after the string. Okay, strip is useful there. So if you want to see all of the methods in string, you can just type string methods in Python, and in the Google you can simply see so much of the resources, you know. You can actually follow it there. I will dive into the next topic, that is string concatenation. Suppose I want to say name equals to Bikalpa, and then surname equals to Dakal, and if I do full name equals to, I can do name plus surname. Doing plus will add these two strings together, they will be joined. That means concatenation. I will print full name, name equals to Bikalpa, surname equals to Dakal, and full name equals to name plus surname. Then printing the full name will actually print my full name. But I think there won't be a space. Okay, there won't be a space because there is no space after Bikalpa, there is no space before Dakal, so there will not be space when they are joined. If I want to put some space there, I can do like this, or I can what I can do is I can do name plus space plus surname. You know, I can just basically add multiple statements, multiple strings there. Okay. Another beautiful feature in Python, I will say, I'll call it something called foobar. Okay, equals to, I can multiply a string. I multiply my name 5 times and I print foobar. What will it print? It will print my name 5 times. You can actually multiply a string in Python. That is a very great feature. Okay. Okay, then we talked about integer, we talked about floating point, we talked about strings. So what if we want to convert one data type to another? You can clearly do it in Python. Suppose I will show it here. Okay, I have a equals to 56. I'm directly talking with the interpreter here, right? A equals to 56. If I do a and equals to, the interpreter will give back 56. Okay. If I do something like float a, now it will give me 56.0. That means a has been converted to floating point, and then the result is given back to us. So a will be 56, but float a will be 56.0. If I say str a, it will give me 56, but inside the single quotes. That means 56 is now a string, it is a text. So by doing float, by the function float, you can convert any data type to a float. By doing str, that function, you can convert any data type to a string. Suppose I have a string called b equals to 100. This is a string, right? This is the text. If I do int b, this will be converted to integer. Okay. Suppose I have a floating point number c equals to 56.7. If I do int c, then 56.7 will be converted to 56. That means it will be converted to integer data type. So that is a type conversion. So let us go into the collection data types. You know, the collection of more than one elements. In Python, basically we have a list, we have tuples, we have sets, we have dictionaries. We will talk them one by one. Let us read some comments here. Tech Music Nepal says, when will you start the main project subscriber counter app? Actually, after I complete the list, dictionary and tuples, I will go on to talk about JSON and those topics. Actually, it's been about 55 minutes. I'm going to build up momentum quite a bit now. Sanjeev says, Dami, good going. Sir, can you shout out to my channel? ER's Technology Sathi. Guys, please like and subscribe to ER Sathi Technology. My friend here also makes tutorials related to AWS, Amazon Web Services. Please check out his channel. Okay, now talking about the list data type. Actually, I'll just copy and delete it. Okay, suppose I want to make a collection of numbers. Okay, something like array in C or C++. Array is the collection of elements, right, of same data type, but in Python list can be of different data types. For example, I say numbers equals to, and then give square brackets, and inside that I write 5, 4, 6, 8, 9 and 23. That means numbers is now a collection. It is a collection of 5 elements. Okay, I can do print len numbers. Len is a special function that will give me how many elements there are in this list. If I run this, it will give me 5, because right now 5 elements are there in my list. Numbers is a list data type. Whenever we declare a list data type, we start with starting square bracket and closing square bracket. So let us talk about some of the methods inside a list. Suppose I want to add a new member to this list, then I can do numbers dot append. I can do 777. If I print numbers, actually there is a S there, it will print out 23 comma 777. This member got appended. You know, I can actually remove a number too. For example, if I remove numbers dot remove and then remove 8, actually it I think you have to provide index here. Let's say 0 1 2 3 0 1 2. Actually, I'm not printing numbers. I have to print it. Okay, and then print numbers. It got removed, right? So you can add a number at specified index too. If I say numbers dot insert and then I put 0 as an index and then comma 444 out of 4444. That means we have to insert 4444 at the 0th index. That means at the beginning of the list. Okay, 4444 got inserted at the beginning of the list. Okay, there are so many other thing you can do with a list, you know, but I will just leave that to you at the moment. You can just Google it and then you can see it. So I will just build some momentum here. A very important method here is numbers dot sort. You know, if you do numbers dot sort, then this list will get sorted. Right now this list is already sorted. I will just try to put something haphazard here. Okay, if I do something like that and run it, the final list will be sorted. I will remove this remove because that number is no longer in the list. Okay, I forgot to print again. How many times do I forget this? Okay, 4469 23 777. This number numbers is sorted. Okay, actually in list you can just put any data type, you know, something like if I do list equals to or li equals to, I can put a number here. I can also put a name here. I can also put another list here. Yeah, you can basically put anything inside anything in Python, but it is still valid. You can access a particular element from the list by using the index. Suppose if I say print and then I say li and then square brackets 1, that means we are printing the element at the index 1 0 1. That means we are printing Bikalpa, right? So we can append two together with plus operator. For example, if I say li equals to that and then gy equals to something like 7967, and then finally if I say new li equals to li plus gy, I used a plus operator there, and then I print new li. This will actually add this new list at the end of the previous list. Okay, so this was list, but actually there is another collection called tuples. For defining tuples, you have to just do something like 7967. You have to use a parenthesis here, small brackets, not big brackets, not the square brackets. Okay, basically the difference between tuple and list is that you cannot modify a tuple once you have declared it. Okay, for example, I said tu equals to 7967, and something later, somewhere later I said tu and square bracket 0 equals to 100. I wanted to change the first value 7 to 100, and I want to print tu, right? If I run it, this will say tuple object does not support item assignment. Tuple object does not support item assignment because it is a immutable type. You cannot modify a tuple, but if it was a list, you could do it. And then comes the set data type. Sets are something similar to list and tuples, but one of the more important features of set is that you do not have duplicates in them. Okay, if you say 2, 2, 2 and 3 and then type to print s, actually you declare a set with a curly bracket. If I print s, then it will print 2 and 3 only. Actually I have to delete this error line. 2 and 3 are named because in the set you cannot have duplicate elements. If you have 3, 2, it will be counted as 1. Set is non-duplicable. And then finally let us go to dictionary data type. Dictionary data type are special data types that work with key and values. For example, if I have something like d equals to, we declare dictionary with curly brackets too, and then I give a key and a value. Suppose I said key as name, and then I give a colon and I give value as Bikalpa. Okay, and then I said I will say address and I give Pokhara. Okay, now D is my dictionary. It has two elements. The first element has the key name and the value of Bikalpa. The second element has the key of address and the value of Pokhara. Remember that the keys should be unique. It cannot be duplicate. You cannot have two similar keys in a dictionary, but you can have two similar values in dictionary. You can have similar values, but you cannot have similar keys. Suppose if I want to print the name by using D dictionary, I have to do D, and then inside the square brackets I have to do name. Previously in list I had to provide the index number, but right now I have to provide the name of the key, the value of the key. The key is name here, so if I pass name here, it will print me Bikalpa. Sabugiri says it's going great. Thank you. Actually, I think it's it is quite going quite slowly, but it's not a problem. I will try to cover every basic concept as possible. Actually, I will cover everything needed to build our subscriber counter app as possible. Okay, I cannot cover everything related to Python, but I will just build basic concept that will be useful for building the YouTube subscriber count app. So another thing I wanted to tell you that you can have a dictionary inside a dictionary. For example, I said student as a key, and then inside it I have another dictionary. Another dictionary can be defined by giving another curly brackets, right? And inside this I say class, and then give here 12, and roll I give 34, right? You have to separate the elements by comma, right? So if I say student is another dictionary, which itself has two elements. The key is class and the value is 12. The key is a roll and the value is 34. So the Powell says, can we combine two lists into a dictionary? Actually, you can put anything inside dictionary. You can put dictionary inside a dictionary. You can put lists inside a dictionary. You can put list as a key inside a dictionary. You can do anything. That is fine. Actually, my laptop is running out of charge. I have to charge it. If your question is something like creating a new dictionary by combining lists, then that is also possible because you just have to write extra code related to it. But I think that is not your question. I think you try to ask something like, can we put two lists inside a dictionary, right? If that's not the issue, please elaborate your question further. For example, if I said marks as a key and I put list inside. For example, I said 3, 4, 5 and 6 and then also added another list 7, 8, 9. Okay, this is also completely valid. This means inside the marks we put a list which is the addition of two lists. Okay, marks is the key and then the new list is the value. If I run it, it is still valid. So now I have a dictionary here. Suppose I want to get a dictionary with the key student, right? So if I have to do that, then I will do D and pass student in there. This will give me a new dictionary. The dictionary which has class as key and 12 as value, roll as key, 34 as value. So if I have to get the class inside it, I have to do another square bracket and pass class. This will give me 12 because we are entering the dictionary and then fetching the value of the key student and then going further inside we are fetching the value of the key class. That will give me the value 12. Okay, you can actually have dictionary inside dictionary, right? Actually, I'm giving more focus to this because afterwards, when I work on JSON fetching by using the REST API, actually we will convert the JSON into the Python dictionary by using a special library. We will convert JSON into dictionary, and then using that dictionary, we will try to fetch the data. So dictionary is quite important for today's session. So you have to understand, dictionary will always contain a key and a value, key and a value. Key can be any Python object, value can be any Python object. You can actually nest a dictionary inside dictionary. You can put a dictionary inside a list, inside a tuple, inside a set, inside a dictionary, and also inside a dictionary, right? You can nest that up to infinite level. And basically, you have to pass the key as an index if you have to access the value. So diving further into the topic, what if we want to take some input from the user? Okay, what if we want to take the input? For that, I have an input function. This will basically take the input from the user, and then I can just put name equals to something like that. This will assign the input into the variable called name, and later on I can just print you have entered and then plus name. Plus will add the given string. Actually, input function will always return a string, you know, it will always return a string. So after doing that, it will wait for me to input something. If I say Bikalpa, it will say you have entered Bikalpa, right? If I want to print some message here, I can do it here, enter your name. Just like that. Suppose you want to take numbers from the user, and then you want to add them. Okay, for that you have to convert the input number into an integer, right? Because input will always give you a string. So let us say, suppose you say enter the first number, and then you store it in A. You say input, enter the second number, and then just try to print a plus b. Will this work? I think not. Let us see. Enter the first number 45, enter the second number 45, but the result is 45 45. It is actually adding as a string. They are joining the string. The plus operator used on string will add them, will join them together. What I want is I want to add the integer values of those strings, right? So I can do I can do something like what is happening here? Okay, I can do something like a equals to integer a, int a. This will convert a into an integer and then assign to a back. B equals to integer b. After that, I can just do 45 45 and then it will add and give me 90. Okay, this was about input. Now what if we want to put some logical statements in here? We can do that using if blocks. If 4 is less than 5, we put a condition here and then we put a colon. After that, if we hit enter, this will automatically start the next line after 4 characters, right? After a tab character. That means the block, the if block should be indented. If I write something here, I say print 4 is smaller. This will print 4 is smaller because 4 is less than 5. It is true. That is why our control will reach inside this if block. If I want to print something like hello next, I have to do like this, right? This means that both of the print statements are inside the if block. If I want to say the print hello is outside the if block, I have to remove that space. Now print hello will be outside the if block. Okay, basically you don't have any square bracket curly brackets like this as in C, C++ or Java. Actually you define blocks by putting a colon and then giving some spaces, you know, and every statements in that block should have same indentation level. Okay, you cannot do something like this. Okay, this is an error, the indentation error, expected unexpected indent, right? This will give an error. So this print will be at the same level as this print. Okay, if you want to do something like else, you can do the result is false. Suppose I put something like is past equals to 77 is greater than or equals to 32, and then I put is past here. If I run it, this will say result is true, right? But if I do 77 changed to 12, then this will say the result is false because it goes to the else condition. If I want to do an else if condition, I have to do like elif, 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 and then put another condition, something like let's say marks equals to 66. If marks is greater than 80, I say distinction. Elif marks is greater than 60, and then a colon and enter. I say printf satisfactory, else the result is failed. If I do this, this will certainly print me satisfactory, right? Or the result is failed. That should not be there, you see. Satisfactory, right? Okay. No, that should not be satisfactory. Yeah, that should be satisfactory actually, because 66 is greater than 60 but less than 80, right? So this is the basic programming stuff. You already know this. I think you already know this. Another very good use of Python, the trick of Python is something like this. I say vowels is a list which will contain A, E, I, O U, and then I say a character equals to A. I can do something like if character in vowels, right? If I do if character in vowels, that means it will check whether this character is occurring inside this tuple or not. Right now A occurs inside vowels, right? So this condition will be true. I can say character exists, else character doesn't exist, right? If I run this, it will say character exists. Where am I? Character exists, right? So let us talk about loops now. The first loop is the for loop. Actually, we use for loop for iterating over single items of a list or a collection. For example, if you want to iterate over every single vowels in the list or tuple vowels, I have to do something like for vowel in vowels. Now each and every vowel in vowels will be pulled out and put in the variable name vowel. If I do print vowel, this will print first A, E, I, O, U. This means this for loop will run for every vowel that is inside the tuple vowels, right? This vowels is the tuple. This vowel is the new name given to each and every individual vowel inside that list, and I'm just printing that list. If you guys have any confusion, please let me know, right? I will go back to the topics. For example, I have a string named Bikalpa, okay, and then I want to display all the vowels in this string, right? For that, I have to declare vowels equals to. Actually, I had it previously. Why did I delete it? I will just put that here and just say string equals to Bikalpa, vowels equals to A, E, I, O, U, okay. And then now I will do for character in string. This means for each and every characters that is inside a string, it will pull out B at first and then I, K, A, L, P, A, one character by character, right? I will say if character in vowels, this will check whether that pulled out character exists inside the tuple vowels or not. If it exists, then I will print that character, right? If it does not, then I will do nothing. If I run it, it has to print I, A, because I is a vowel, A is a vowel, A is a vowel. This is how for loop works. For loop actually tries to pull out each and every element inside some collection object, you know, inside some collection object. So if you want to run a for loop for a specified number of times, like run the loop for 10 times, run a loop for 20 times, you can do it like for I in range. You have to use a special function called range 10, and then print hello. This is basically saying print hello for 10 times. If I run it, it will run print hello for 10 times. Actually, range is a special function that helps us to run a particular loop for n number of times, you know. So if I do 10 times, it will run 10 times. For example, if I do 5 and then comma 10, what will happen? It will run only 5 times. This means start from 5 and reach up to 10, right? In C++, you would do I equals to 5, I less than 10, I plus plus, right? Something like that. In Python, you can start from 5 and end at 10, but you do not reach to 10, right? Because 10 is exclusive. If you print I here and then C, it will print 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but not 10, because 10 is exclusive. You can pass third parameter here, that is a step, something like 2, if you pass the third parameter as 2, that means it will skip 2 numbers ahead. First 5 and then it skips 2 numbers, that means 7, and then again skipping 2 numbers, that is 9. Okay, if you say 3 as a third parameter, it will print 5 at first and then 8, and then next time it will be 11, but 11 is out of the range, so it will not print 11. Next, coming to while loop. Actually, while loop will run whenever the condition provided is true. For example, if I say while input is not equals to no, first of all, this input statement will be executed, input function, to take the input from the user. If that input is not equals to no, then run this loop. I will print again. If I run this, first of all, it will ask me for input. Whatever I enter here, it will say print again, right? But to end this loop, what I have to type? I have to type no. That means if input is not equals to no, we will run this loop, but if input is no, then we will end this loop. This is a while loop. Now coming to the functions. Actually, when we write functions in Python programming language, we will start it with def keyword, def, and then just doing something like sum, and then we give brackets. Inside that we pass a list of parameters. Actually, I already said that the Python data types need not be specified. That means you do not specify the return type of this function. You do not define what sum will return, whether it will return a string or whether it will return a list, or whether it returns a double, sorry, not double, there is no double there here, a float or something like that. So if I say def sum and then I pass 2 parameters here, a and b, I do not have to say int a or int b, okay, because we do not have to specify data types in Python. I will do a colon here. Whenever we start a new block, we have to type a colon and then enter. After entering, there will be a small indentation there, right? That means we are now writing something inside the block of that function. I will do something like s equals to a plus b, and then I want to return this result, right? So to return this result, I say return s. Okay, now this will return the sum of a and b. Doing this will not call that function, right? We have to call it first. To call it, we will do sum. We have to provide its name, and inside its parenthesis brackets, I will do 5 and 7, right? But doing this will not print the result. I have to put it inside a print statement. Okay, now if I print sum of 5 and 7, then 5 will get copied to a, 7 will get copied to b, then it will return me the sum. If I do this, it will print me 12, right? Okay, talking about the default parameters, if I do b equals to 98, for example, and I do not provide the second parameter, I say only sum equals sum 5. That means this 5 will get copied to a, but b will get its default value. The default value is 98. If I run it, this will be equivalent to 98 plus 5, because a will be equal to 5 and b equals to 98, right? 5 plus 98 equals to 103. This will return 103 and it will print it. But if I want to pass explicitly the value of b, I want to say suppose 7. Now this 7 will overwrite the value of b, the default value of b. That means b will now be 7. So 5 plus 7 will be 12 and it will return 12. Shruti Sambek says hello. Hello, how are you? Okay, suppose I have default parameters for a also. I say a equals to 10, I pass nothing then. This will be equivalent to 10 plus 98, right? I think you are getting the idea here. Default parameters, default values, will be assigned to those parameters, and we need not pass the value if we have defined the default parameters in its definition. Suppose I want to pass the value of B only but not A, then what can I do? Suppose I pass something like 20 here and then run it. This will be equivalent to passing 20 to A. A will be overwritten by 20, but B will still get the value of 98, right? So 98 plus 20 equals to 118, and it will return 118. But what if I want to pass 20 to B only and then let A have its default value? For that, we can do something like B equals to 20. This means inside the sum function, we are assigning the value of parameter B as 20, but we let the A value be the default value. So now this result will be 30. Because A will get the 30, A will get 10 as default value, but B will get overwritten by 20. Okay, that is about the functions. Okay, so now let's talk about the modules in Python, right? For example, I have written a small a function called sum here. I want to copy this and then I want to put it in a separate file called function.py, right? Okay, I paste it here. Now it gets saved. Now in main.py, I want to call the sum function that is inside the function.py. Inside the main py, I want to call the function that is inside function.py. So for that, I had to import this module, right? I have to import this function. To import that, I can say something like from function import sum. From inside the function module, input the method or the function sum. After that, I can just print sum 4576. Let us read some comments here. Saraj Tripathi. Hi Bikalpa, nice job bro. Keep it up. Thank you brother. Nice to see you around here. It is a great achievement for you to be here, bro. Means a lot to me. Okay, I printed out the sum here, right? But 30 is getting printed because inside the function.py, I actually am printing the sum with b equals to 20, right? If I delete it, then if I go back to main method and run it, it will now not print 30 but only 121. Actually, I am reusing the sum function inside the function.py. For that, I have to use from function input sum, right? This is the thing. Okay, suppose we want to use built-in modules, right? Built-in functions that is written inside some other modules. So what will we have to do for that? For example, I want to write a Python script that will print hello Bikalpa codes. After every 5 seconds, it will wait for 5 seconds, it will sleep for 5 seconds, and then it will again say some message and then again sleep for 5 seconds. For that, I can input time. Time is actually a library, a module that is built in inside Python. And I will just do something like while true. While true is an infinite loop, it will forever get run. I will do printf, print welcome to Bikalpa codes, and then I will say time.sleep. Time.sleep means you have to sleep, you have to wait for 5 seconds. Time.sleep 5 means wait for 5 seconds. Now let us see what this will bring to us. Actually, this is taking too much time. I don't know why. Is my internet speed unstable or something like that? Welcome to Bikalpa codes. It will take 5 seconds for next message to be printed, right? Again, welcome to Bikalpa codes, and then again 5 seconds it will be sleeping. Okay, we achieved the sleeping functionality by using time.sleep, but to use time we have to import it. It is inside the library, but we have to first import it and then use it. So this was some library that was installed in Python itself, but for some time we have to use some libraries that are not in the default Python distribution. We have to install it later, right? So to install a custom defined custom library or third-party library or third-party module, we will use a package manager, something called PIP. PIP stands for Python installs itself, or pip installs pip, or Python installs pip, something like that. It has a recursive definition. Actually, pip is nothing but a program that will help you install a third-party module, third-party library into your code, right? Suppose, for example, I want to install a library named Faker. So for that, I have to go to my actually this is not the console. I have to type that command in the console. But for this IDE, for Repl.it IDE, I actually have to go to packages tab, and then here search for package. I have to type Faker. Actually, Faker is the library I'm going to install here. This is searching. We are already into 1 hour and 30 minutes now. Actually, this is boosting my confidence now. Truthfully speaking, my confidence is way too high now, as compared to when I started stream. You know, I had a constant fear of what would happen next, or what would I do if something goes wrong, if the internet speed goes wrong, something like that. But I'm fearless right now. Why is this not starting? I said Faker, right? Is the internet not working? This is working. Faker, Faker. I want to reload it. I don't know why it is not loading. Man, this is so frustrating. What if I do exit here? Will it take it? Oh no, I cannot do it. So I cannot access the cell from there. I have to do it from here. Faker. Oh, please let me install the package. Why is it not letting me install the package? Does this package not exist? What about Django? Does it exist? This is not searching at all. If you know which packages you want to use in your REPL, you can just input and use packages in your REPL as if they were already installed. Oh, right. And new packages will be installed. Okay. REPL process died unexpectedly. Vivek Takal says it as a joke. Actually, they do not want me to access the terminal, right? I think they are more having issues with security or something like that. They do not want me to access the terminal. But anyway, it says whenever you want to use a package, you just use it. You do not have to install it. The Repl.it will automatically find it and install it, right? So that is a very great feature. If you had to install it, you would have to do pip, and then you do pip install, and then Faker. Faker, 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 right? But right now we are inside the Python shell, and we cannot go back from it. So that is like I don't like it now. I used to like it till now, but I don't like it. Anyway, just leave it. We are using Faker library, right? We will just import it, assuming that we have already installed it, and Repl.it will automatically install it. So I just say import Faker, and then I will say Faker equals to Faker. Actually I have to do from faker input faker, okay, capital faker, and then I say welcome to and comma faker dot name. What will this do? Let's see. I cannot import name template from string. Sorry, I have to delete it. Delete the file. Where is the function? I will delete this. No, I will not delete it. The function is being used. Delete the file, and then again try to run it. Yeah, it is now installing it. This is happening automatically. I wanted more control over it, but anyway. Guys, how are you doing? Please let me know. Am I moving too fast? Okay, you can see here. I'm running it, and welcome to Zachary Griffin. Welcome to Destiny Vasquez. Welcome to Jeffrey Beard. Actually, it is producing a fake name, right? Every time I run it. This is what faker is used for. It will generate a fake or random name every time I call it. So it is giving me a random name for every loop, right? So yeah, for generating that random value, I am using the faker library. The faker was not in the default Python distribution, and I had to install it. But to install it, you would have to use pip space install space a library. But right now the Repl.it IDE has installed it for me, thanks to the Repl IDE actually. So let us move forward. Actually we are now going towards our project now. So let us first discuss about what JSON data format is. I will just stop it right now, because if I don't stop it, it will print this name forever, you know. Okay, let us learn about JSON data types. Okay, JSON data format. JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation, right? JavaScript Object Notation. Actually, JSON concept came from JavaScript language. Basically, JSON is a format of interchanging data, where you have a key and a value, right? A JSON contains a key and then a value. For example, if I see a sample JSON, it is something like this, you know. Okay, a JSON can contain an object, a JSON object, or a JSON array. JSON array means array of objects, right? Right now this JSON array contains 1, 2, 3 objects, and each object is a JSON object. Inside it there are keys and values. Date is a key and this is a value. Locations is a key, and then the value is another JSON object, right? United States is a key, 4 is a value. Germany is a key, 8 is a value. Similarly, date is a key, this is a value. Key, value, key, value. Actually, if we look at JSON data type, we will find it similar to dictionary data type in Python. Actually, we had key as well as values, key and values, right, in the dictionary too. JSON data type is similar to that, but the difference is that in JSON you can have only strings as the keys, right? You have date, locations, South Africa, Japan, they all are strings, they are text, they are inside the double quotes, right? So, but inside dictionary data type in Python, you can have any object as a key. You can have a list as a key, you can have a number as a key, you can have a tuple as a key, you can have a string as a key. Of course, you can have that, but they are quite similar. So whenever we try to work with JSON in Python, we actually can convert it to dictionary data type and then use our Python code to read the data from the dictionary, right? So what I'll do here is actually I will write a JSON string, right? J string equals to, I will just put it inside 3 double quotes. That means I'm writing a multi-line JSON string, right? Multi-line string. So JString is a string data type that contains a string or text. My text will be in multiple lines, so that I have used this notation, triple double quotes, right? So here inside it, I will do something like curly brackets, because just like Python dictionaries, JSON objects will also start from curly brackets. I will do something like name and then colon. I will put Bikalpa, right? I can do class. What is my class actually? Is it 17 or 18? I don't know. Let us put it 18. Class equals to 18. Actually, it doesn't have to be string also. Yes, it can be a number. Yeah. So this is a simple JSON string. Okay. Now I want to convert this JSON string into Python dictionary. So what I can do is, first of all, I have to input a library called JSON. This JSON is a predefined library. It exists inside the default installation of Python that will help me convert a JSON string inside a Python dictionary. So what I can do is, I can simply say d equals to json.loads and I pass JString. Basically what I'm doing here is, loads is a function. As a function I am passing JString as a parameter. JString is the JSON string. Loads means load string. Loads stands for load string. JSON.load string, that means convert this string inside a dictionary. If I print d here, what will I get? Let us see. Actually, it is installing something. I don't know what. Okay, name Bikalpa class 18. Actually, this got converted inside a JSON object, right? Not really JSON object. It got converted inside a dictionary, Python dictionary. So a while back, I taught you how to access a particular element of a JSON of a dictionary, Python dictionary, right? So if I want to access Bikalpa, then I have to do something like d, and then inside the square bracket I have to pass name. This means it will now print Bikalpa, because d is a dictionary which inside have a key named Bikalpa and a value named key named name. Name is the key and the value is Bikalpa. So if I try to say give me the value of the key name, then inside that dictionary the value of the key name is Bikalpa, so it will print out Bikalpa. Okay, that is how you convert a JSON string into a Python dictionary. So now let us discuss something about the HTTP request and response patterns, right? Whenever you do something like google.com, what actually is happening is you are passing a request, HTTP request, to the server of google.com, and google.com is returning the HTML page into your web browser. So you are requesting for HTML page, you made a request, you are a client, your web browser is a client, your laptop is a client, and you make a request to the server, Google server, and the Google server is sending you the response. The response is the HTML page you are seeing currently. So the response can be categorized into various types depending upon the response code, right? And there are various response codes. For example, if you type response codes, HTTP response codes, you can see something like 100 continue, 200 okay, 400 bad request, 404 not found. Yeah, that is quite popular among programmers. 404 page not found. These are the request codes, right? Each and every individual code have a special meaning. If the request is processed correctly, the response is the request is succeeded, and then the response is currently sent back, then that means the request code will be 200, right? So first of all, we will try to make a request to a page, okay, using the Python programming language. So for that, actually to send the request to a particular page, we will use another library. That library is named requests. Input requests, requests. there should be a s at the end. Okay, requests. Basically, if I wasn't here, if I was at my own terminal, then I would have to do pip install requests, because that library is not in my current computer, in my Python distribution. But right now Repl.it installs automatically those libraries which are not in the default distribution, right? So I do not have to install anything here. I will just say input requests. Then I will say URL equals to, I am just defining a variable, right? URL equals to, I will say something like bikalpacodes.com, but I will provide the full URL, https://bikalpacodes.com. Okay, now I want to send a request to this URL, and then whatever I get back, I want to print the response code in the console. So what I can do is I can do response equals to requests.get. Get is a function, and inside that I pass URL. If I pass URL inside get function, actually the requests will get the response from this URL. The meaning of this statement. Now if I wait, I have to see something like actually I did not print this result, right? I have to print response. If I print response, then I have to see something like response 200. Okay, this is a 200 is a response code. That means the request was successful. But if I do something like this, then I have to get response of, that was actually an error, right? Okay, I expected it to be something like 404 error, but anyway, that site doesn't exist, so it gave me an error. But bikalpacodes.com exists. If you guys haven't checked out, you can check there. I have just put my portfolio out there, but I plan to build a blog, programming blog at bikalpacodes.com. By the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, now is the time you do it, because I'm making a Python series soon. I have just completed recording the C programming tutorials, and now I'm switching towards data structures and Python programming. So that put aside, let us go and run this again. This will print out response 200, right? What if I want to look what the response is, not the response code, but what the response actually is, what I got from that website? For that I have to do print response.content, right? So if I run response.content, then it will give me HTML response. You know, these all things, they are HTML code. Okay, this ends with HTML tag, right? Something begins with doc type HTML. So basically what is happening here is, let us open my site here first, bikalpacodes.com. Okay, if I see the page source here, if you are using Chrome, then you can clearly see view page source. If I do view page source, you can see something of the page source, the HTML source code of this website, right? So this is the same thing that is getting printed here. Sorry, not this one. Where was I? Okay, yeah. This is the same thing that is getting printed at the console. This is the same code, same source code that actually we got from the Chrome, right? So the response we are getting is HTML page. When we hit this URL, we call it hitting, right? In computer's term, in technological term, we say it hitting. When we hit that URL, we get the HTML page as a response. So let us try to hit some other URL, okay? google.com. We will get something else, right? This is the source code of the google.com web page. Okay, then it may not be the case where a site or a website will always give us the HTML code, right? It can give us a particular data also. What do I mean here is that a particular URL may return JSON data type also. For example, let us see. Right now I'm taking you towards the REST API, right? So let us see. For example, if I do something like I forgot it. What was it? I think it was dummy.restapi example.com/API/v1/employees, right? It was dummy.restapi example.com/API/v1/employees. If I do this, it gives me JSON. You see it, right? It opens with a curly bracket, and then you can see a key and a value, right? This is the JSON data type we just discussed. So not all websites give us HTML as the response. They can also give us JSON. Actually, now let's go to some of the request methods. Actually, in HTTP, we can send the request with methods like get, post, put, delete, something like that. Actually, the most important there are get and post, right? Whenever you run a website, put an address on the address bar and then run it. Actually, the request type getting there is the get request type. It will just fetch that web page and give back to you. That is the get data type. Get request type. But if you are filling a form, something like typing a form, contact form or something like that, and you hit submit, then you are sending the post request. Post means you are sending something with the request, right? You are sending something with the request to be put in the database or something like that, to be made permanent. So that is the post request. But if you want something from the server, you want to get something from the server, you send the get request. Okay. And then defining the REST API. REST API is nothing but a special kind of service, a special kind of URLs or a special kind of websites that will send you some specific data. When you hit their endpoint, we call it endpoint, the URL. When you hit this endpoint, right now this URL is the endpoint. When you hit this endpoint, you will get some data. What data you get is this status, success, data, something like this. Okay, this is the JSON data you are getting, but this looks quite unclear and dirty, right? So to view it in pretty form, what we can do is we can install one extension. Let us do Postman Chrome extension. If you are using Google Chrome, which you should be, or Firefox or other Chromium based browsers should have this plugin. Postman is available in Chrome Store. Just go to it, Chrome Web Store, and then install it. I have already installed it, and I will just launch the app, and it will launch the app on my computer. Okay. And basically here you can just select a different type of request you want to get, or post or put or patch or delete or something. I will do with get request because it is the default type of request, and I will put that link in here, not this one but this one, dummy.restapiexample.com/API/v1/employees. I will take this and then I will put it here in the URL, and I will click the send button, and I will get the response here like this in the pretty form, right? This is giving me back some data related to employees, I think, right? Because we are doing v1/employees. This is giving me data related to employee. Right now, the first employee has ID of 1, name of Tiger Nixon, salary of something like this, age is 61, something like that. And then the second employee has the ID of 2, employee name is Garrett Winters, something like that. It is giving me 24 employees data, right? Actually, I need to take some break here. I will be back in 2 minutes. Guys, please continue, okay? Okay guys, I'm back here. I just got a simple 1 minute break. I hope you guys are following me through. Please say hello. Who is watching right now? Okay, this is the data that we received from the endpoint from this URL. Actually, this is a REST API. I will not go to the technical details of REST API. Just you have to understand that REST API is some service that provides you with some specific URLs. If you want to get the data of employees, hit this URL. If you want to get the data related to a particular employee, hit this URL. If you want to get data related to office, hit this URL. If you want to get data related to some particular person, then go and make a request to this URL. Okay, then that type of service is called REST API. I will not get into the technical details much, but that should be enough for you to get started. What was I talking about previously? Yeah, defining the REST API is a service that returns us data when we send them the request asking for something, right? Okay, then we talked about scraping, API, REST API. Then I want to make you clear about two different concepts when we want to fetch some data from a particular website. For example, I want to actually the objective of this live stream is to build an subscriber counting app, right? So for that, I want to go to my channel, which is obviously this one, and I want to fetch the data, this data, right? 173 subscribers. I want to fetch this data, and then I want to display it on the console, right? Or I want to build an app displaying that. For that, I have to go to this website and collect it and fetch it, right? I have to fetch this. So there are two ways I can do this. The first of all, which is the preferred way, if the website permits it, or if the website gives you the API to access that data, you have to use the API. By using the API, you make to some URL, you make a request to some URL that the YouTube will say, if you want to get the subscriber count, go to this URL. If you want to gain how much videos a particular content creator has posted, go and make a request to this URL. And it will ask for, you have to provide me with something. You have to provide me with your channel ID. You have to provide me with something, what you want, and I will give you back the data. And that data will be in the JSON format, right? So that is the method of using the REST API. But there is another method too. That method is using scraping, and scraping is not the first solution. This should not be the solution on the first go. It will be the last resort, right? If you do not have anything, if you do not have an API related to a website and you still need to get the data from that website, then you have to use scraping. Actually, scraping means you go to the website, you basically pull out the HTML of that website, and then you basically act as if you are a browser, web browser. Your code acts as if you are a web browser, and then you pull some particular thing from inside the HTML content of your web browser, and then for HTML content of that page, and then display it, right? Scraping is not preferred over API because there are several reasons. Number one, it actually depends upon the structure of the code written by that website, right? For example, the particular website developer has written the code by putting the subscriber count below the Bikalpa codes for now, right? If this is the case for now, but tomorrow YouTube may change its website, and then it can put 173 subscribers somewhere here, right? Somewhere in this button or something like that. YouTube can do that, but our code will totally break that time because we have made it completely dependent upon the structure of the website. The scraping is dependent. And then another drawback of using scraping is that some websites actually load the data dynamically using JavaScript, and for that scraping the data becomes very hard, right? Very troublesome. So If you want to use scraping, if you don't have any other methods available, you can use scraping, but it should be the last resort. And some sites even have very strict policies regarding scraping, right? If they are suspicious that you are scraping their site, they might even ban you. They might ban your IP, and you might just be banned from accessing that site. Some sites can do that in their website. So scraping should not generally be our primary priority. So the thing we are going to do here is to display these 173 subscribers. We want to fetch the subscribers of a particular channel, right? So for that, first of all, there were two methods, API and scraping. We will not look into scraping, we will look into the API. Now we want to find the suitable API that will give us the number of subscribers subscribed to a particular channel, and for that we have YouTube Data API. Right? If you search YouTube Data API on the Google, you can clearly see YouTube Data API Google developers. Let's go into this. Actually, I like this red color of YouTube so much. I love this. Just saying so. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to read this all for you. Actually, what this does is it gives you the functionality, it gives your app the functionality to access the data related to a particular channel. Okay, so let us go to guides. Okay, let us see the overview. Before you start, it says you need to have a Google account. I think you all have Google account, right? If you don't have, then you have to have a Google account. I think you already have that, because basically who doesn't have a Google account? And then to use it, actually we need to have a project in the Google Developers Console, and we need to obtain the authorization credentials for it. So what does that mean? How to get it? I will take you step by step. So first of all, you have to open Google Developers Console. That is at actually console.developers.google.com. okay, I'll just put that link here, console.developers.google.com. and then it will open the Google Developers Console. Actually, if you are a first time user, you may see something like you do not have any projects or create a project to get started or something like that. Okay. So you have to first create a project. That is also very easy. I will show you that too. I have already created one project here. What I'll do is I'll just do new project. Okay, I want to show how to do a new project, right? So my project name will be live YouTube subscriber counter, something like that, and I will say create. This should be between 4 and 30 characters. I will say live YouTube subs counter. Will that be enough? I don't know. Yeah, I create it, right? This is created now. Okay, this project got created. So first of all, what will I have to do is from this drop down, I have to select the newly created project, which is live YouTube subs counter, right? I have to select it so that in this drop box, drop down menu, my newly created project live YouTube subs counter should be visible. So for the first time users, you can see you don't have any APIs available to use it. To get started, enable API services and API and services, which we are going to do next. So we click here, enable APIs and services, and now we are provided with so much of the API services, right? We can have Blogger API, we can have People API, AdSense Management API, something like that, Google Play, Android Developer API, Map SDK. We can also use the Google Map API, we can use Maps JavaScript API, something like that. But what we are actually doing here is YouTube Data API. If we search that, we can see that YouTube Data API, YouTube Analytics API, and YouTube Reporting API. We are using YouTube Data API. We select that, and then we enable it. This will start enabling our API, and this should be over soon. Let us see the comments. ER Sati Technology says hello. Hello ER Sati, how are you? Why does the comment section look so dead, guys? Come on, I might get bored, you know. Okay, my API got created, right? Now my API is enabled, but to use this API I need to have an API key. That key means I need to have something, a credential, so that I can ask YouTube that I am actually asking for it, right? YouTube needs to know who is actually asking for that data, because you know Google stores a lot of data. It loves data, and it likes to store everyone's data, right? So Google will not give you freely some data without knowing who has accessed it, right? So they will ask you some credential or a key, so that they can verify who is actually asking for the data. Shruti Sambek says it's raining. Really? I don't see it, but maybe I'm inside my studio. Sabugiri says, what is YouTube Analytics API? Analytics API is the API that is used to access the analytics data. Analytics data actually means how much watch time you have, how many likes you got in a particular time frame, what are the comments you got, how many views you got from this date to this date. You know, the analytics data is something like that. Actually analytics data are available for your own YouTube channel, right? Because somebody else should not be able to view how much money I earned in a particular time frame, or how much money I spent for something. That data should be visible to only me. So that is done using YouTube Analytics API. Is that clear, Sabu? Okay, for that I have to create credentials. Now I create credentials. Okay, now it asks me find out what kind of credentials you need. Different APIs use different auth platforms. Okay, what API are you using? I select YouTube Data API version 3. Where will you be calling the API from? I will say something like other UI, example Windows CLI tool, something like that. Different credentials are required to authorize access depending on the type of data that you request. What data will you be accessing? I will be accessing public data, right? Because YouTube subscriber count is visible to everyone. Sabugiri says, thanks brother, you're welcome. Okay. After that, I click that what credentials do I need button, and then I get a credential here. Here is your API key. Actually, this key is a kind of a secret key. I should not be sharing this with you. I should not be making this public. But anyway, I will delete this key after this video is over, so you will not have luck using this key. Okay. I recommend you using your own key, because every API key will have only around 15,000 or something like that requests available, right? You have a limit, daily limit. If you cross that limit, then you cannot make requests to the YouTube API, right? So use your own key. Do not use my key. I trust you on this. Okay. I will delete this anyway after this video. I will say done. I will first copy this to my clipboard, and then I will click done. Okay, my new key is created, right? So I will go back to my code now. I will just delete it for a moment. Okay, I will create a comment and then paste that key. Okay, just so that it will not get erased. It will be safe there. We are already inside 2 hours and 10 minutes now. How are you guys doing, guys? Are you guys bored? I'm seeing 9 concurrent viewers here. I think I'm doing good. Actually, I had expected it to be something like 30 or 40, but anyway, it is my first time, so okay. Then let us go back to YouTube Data API overview, right? Actually, before you start, we have already did this. We have already done this, right? Vivek Dagal says, yeah, brother. Sruti Sambek says, yes, sir. Thank you for giving me support. We have actually already done this part. Actually, we haven't installed the client library. Okay. Actually, I'm not going through each of these steps reading them, because that will take much time. Basically, this is saying create a Google account. This is saying go to the developers console and obtain your API key, and something like that. Okay, I have already done this, and then I have to select a client library. I will open this in new tab, and let's see client libraries, right? What we want to access data API from. Okay. If I go to client Google API client library for Python, because we are using the Python here, we will get to a GitHub repository. Basically, if we get down here, actually how we install it, they give the instruction how we install it. Basically, if we go deep down here, they say that to install it, we have to install Google-API-Python-client, right? We have to use Google-API-Python-client. But I think we are just fetching the request JSON response here, so I think we do not need that. For the moment, let us not use that. Just send the request and receive the data. I will use it later if I need it. Okay. First of all, I will go to quick start and then Python, because I want to see how I can do something with Python. And then I will go to where is it? Implementational guide. I will go here, channels. I want to see how I can get channel data. Let us go to samples here. It's not here. Guides. Basically, reading the documentation is the most effective way to get something done, right? So I'm basically teaching you how to read by yourself. YouTube Data API is quite new to me also, so I'm also learning in the same process, right? So a programmer doesn't know every single API from every single platforms, right? So but you should know how to read the documentation and do thing that you that you are trying to do. So actually what I'll do is I'll say YouTube Data API channel data. Okay, I got a search term here, channels and colon list. I will open that link. Okay, and then inside here it shows me common use cases, right? A list by channel ID, list by YouTube username, list by my channel, something like that. Below, if you come down to the request, you will come to something like HTTP request, and it says get the URL googleapis.com/youtube/v3/channels. This is the URL we want to hit to get the YouTube channel data. On the right side, you have been showing try this API. We want to, if we want to try it on the live, we can do so. Actually, the request parameters. Actually, these parameters are the thing we provide with request to access the data, right? For the request, actually, I want to go to list by channel ID, and then if I click it, then automatically the path box gets filled by snippet, content details, and statistics. Actually, I do not need these also because I only want the subscriber count, right? So I will just do statistics for now, okay? And then path is statistics, and ID, it asks for ID here, and we want to provide the ID of my YouTube channel. So for that, I go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bikalpa codes. Okay, if I go to some videos tab, then I will see this is my channel ID, right? Starting from U and ending with A. This is my channel ID. I will copy it and I will go to, where was I? I was here, right? In the path, I put statistics, and in the ID, I paste my YouTube channel ID, right? I do not put anything else. I just hit execute, and it asks me to choose my Google account. You have to choose the Google account that you used earlier with Google Developers Console, right? You have to use the Google Developers Console. Will sir says how to read documentation. Actually, that is a very pretty good question, Will sir. Basically, let me first log in into this and I'll tell you, right? Okay. Hello. This actually is a successful 200 response, and it sends me some data. Inside there is a items key, and inside there is a subscriber count key, and inside that I have that subscriber count as 172, right? So coming back to Will sir's question, how to read documentation. Actually, the reading the documentation is actually about trying to figure out what you want to do first. So basically, every time I have to do something and I go to the documentation page of a particular platform, they actually have it sorted out into basically 3 categories. The one is the reference. The reference means they will contain each and every methods, each and every classes, each and every data types, and all the things that are possible with that library. And you will have a guides section. The guide section will actually provide you layman terms or a beginner's guide to get started in a particular field domain. For example, if you want to create a app in Firebase, and then you open the documentation of Firebase, they will have a guide that will say create your first app or something like that, you know. And then the next category is the coding samples, you know. They actually have put coding sample. They might have put it in the GitHub, or they might have in the blog or something like that. They will redirect you to already implemented examples that are using the same platform that you are using. So first of all, as a beginner, you will not want to go to reference tab, you know, because reference tab will contain something that will overwhelm you. You have to go to the guides tab, and inside the guides tab, actually if documentation is prepared right, actually you will get to the landing page where it will basically tell you how to start, you know. You have to just follow the instructions, and then whenever you have to do something else before doing something else, you open that in a new tab, and then go to that another website and complete that and come back to it. And then And then in guides and tutorials, you can see something like upload a video. If you are trying to upload a video using code or using Python or JavaScript to the YouTube, you have to go to this link. Send resumable uploads. If that is what you want, you want to go to that. Okay, and implementation guide. If you want to work with comments, you have to go inside this. If you want to go and work with playlist, you have to go inside this. Okay, and if you go inside the playlist, actually, and they will have something like retrieve a current users playlist. You know, basically it's like going inside a flat first and going inside a room first and then going inside inside something else. You just basically go from a broader topic to a specific topic. This is how you read documentation. Will serve. Thank you. Trick how to, really helpful. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Trick how to. If you guys are enjoying this, please don't forget to subscribe, right? This means a lot to me. Actually, where was I? I have to go back. I think I was testing the live API, right? I was here. I was just sending the request and it sent. It sent me the response. Inside that response, I have subscriber count, right? So what I'll do is basically I have parameters to be sent to this request. The parameters are path and ID, right? The path means what part of data I want about that channel, and ID means what is the ID of the channel that I want the data of. So these are the two parameters that I need to provide, and also I have to provide the key. Right now I am just selecting the API key, and the YouTube data API website is itself providing the key for me. But if I want to implement it in my own code, then I want API key also. So I will teach you how to do this in Python code. So let us go back to our code. First of all, I will store my API key in a variable called key. This is not the API key. This is the API key. I will store it here, okay? And also I will store my channel ID, channel underscore ID equals to, this is not the channel ID, where is it? This one is the channel ID. I will put it inside here. This is the channel ID, right? And then inside the part, where was I need to pass statistics, and inside the ID I need to pass the channel ID. So what I'll do is I will create a dictionary, actually a dictionary named params, right? So let us go back here. I will create a dictionary called params. Params means parameters. This is a dictionary. Inside the dictionary I will have a key named key, and this will be equal to key. This string key is a key, the key of the dictionary, and this key is the value of the dictionary, right? So this key is the variable I have used here. I could have named this API underscore key, right? So I would have to do key is to API underscore key, and then I would have to do channel ID, channel ID. Basically ID is the parameter that the YouTube API expects us, right? This is the ID. They want us to pass ID. They want us to pass part. So inside the part key, I will just say statistics, right? This is the parameters we need to pass. We need to pass an API key, we need to pass a channel ID, and we need to pass statistics as the part. Okay, now what is the endpoint? Let us define the endpoint with a new variable called endpoint, and the endpoint is this one, https www.googleapis.com/youtube/v3/channels. I will copy it and I'll paste it. This is the endpoint, right? Okay, what I want to do is I want to send the request to this endpoint along with these parameters and then see what the response is. So for that I will use response equals to, I will use requests library, requests dot get, and the URL is inside the variable endpoint, and then basically we pass the parameters as params equals to params. Basically this params is the name of the parameter of the function, and this params is the dictionary that contains all the parameters we need to pass along with the request, right? So if I try to print response here, what will I get? Let us see. The requests is not defined. Okay, we forgot to import requests. Let us import requests and then try to run it. Let us read the comments. Oh, actually nothing new. We got response 200, right? That means our request was successful. Okay, if we want to print response.content, this will give us the result that YouTube actually gave back to us. The YouTube actually gave back to us this data. What data? This data. Okay, if we clearly see here, we will see something like subscribers count 175, right? This is what we want to get from there. Okay, this is what we want. So let us see how we can get that. Response.content. Let us see if I can do import JSON. I want to import JSON, and then I want to do something like d equals to JSON dot load as, and then response dot content. If I do this, what will I get? Nothing, because I didn't print out the dictionary. Print D. Okay, it gave me a dictionary, right? What I'm doing here is the response the YouTube gave back to us was in JSON, right? If we want to try this using the Postman, I told you about Postman earlier. Suppose I want to go to apps here, and where is Postman? This is Google Apps, I think. How do you access apps? Okay, here it is Google Apps, and here it is Postman. If I go inside Postman, and then inside the get, I type the endpoint, right? And here I have params button. If I hit params, then it will give me the key and value of params. Inside this, I have to pass a ID. The ID is this channel ID, right? I have to pass the channel ID. Inside the key, I have to pass the API key, right? Copy. Where was it? Here. Paste. And inside part, I have to pass statistics, right? And I send it. If I send it, I can see in a pretty form, I got a JSON. Inside this, I have a key called items, which itself is a list, because square bracket is a list, right? Wilshire says, can't we show response.content nicely? I think yes. Actually, when I used to script with Beautiful Soup, web scraping with Beautiful Soup, I actually used to do soup.prettify, right? That used to prettify the HTML page for me. But there might be some commands that may prettify the result. Okay, let us search for it. I will search for it. How to prettify response with requests in Python. Actually, this is not what I want. Prettify the HTML response Python. Actually, this answer is also wanting me to use beautiful soup, right? I actually used to do this when I used to script. So basically, what you have to do is just you import beautiful soup library, and you just create a beautiful soup by passing the generated HTML. That means you instead of passing root, you pass response.content, and then basically you do soup.prettify. That will prettify the HTML response. Okay, let's go back into our topic. Actually, we were here, right? So first of all, we got the JSON. We will convert it into a Python dictionary. From inside that, we will fetch these items. Inside that, we have a list, right? From that list, we will get the first element. This is the first element, right? From inside that, we will get the object with the key of statistics. This is the object, right? And from inside that, we will get the key. We will get the value of the key subscriber count, right? So basically, we have to dive into it. First of all, getting something, and then further opening it and getting something else, and then opening it and getting something else. We have to penetrate it, right? So let us go back to our code here. Basically, we printed D, but right now we do not want to print D. Actually, why? Because D is this whole thing, right? We just want to take out this much part only. For that, we have to take out the items key of the dictionary D, because the key is the items, right? So what we will do is items equals to D, and then square bracket, I will pass items, right? Actually, I will print items. Actually, it is installing new libraries. I don't know. Let us read the comments. Okay, now it is only printing the items. It is starting to print from the kind key, right? If we go back to our request, we can see that the kind key is starting from the items, right? Items is a list, you know, items is a list. We want to take out the first element of that list. The first element is this object, right? The list starts with square bracket, and the object of the Python dictionary starts with curly brackets. So this is the list. From inside this list, we want to take out the first object. So if we want to print, if we want to take out the first object from items, what will you have to do is, I will do item equals to items and 0. Passing 0 means items is a list. I want to take out the first element from that list, right? And I will print item. If I run it, I will actually get a particular item. But now, still item is not the thing we want. From that object, we want this one. We want this part. This part is inside the key statistics. Statistics is the key, right? So we will go to our code, and then what we will do is, I will say statistics equals to item is a dictionary. From inside that, I want to fetch the value of the key statistics, right? And now I want to print statistics. If I run it, I will see something like subscriber count 181, view count 2797, something like that. Now we are getting further into what we are actually requiring, right? But this is not what we want. This object is not what we want. We want the subscriber count inside it. So for that, we have to fetch the value of the key subscriber count. So let us do that. I will say sub_count equals to statistics, and inside that I pass subscribers count. I think the spelling is correct, right? Is it correct? Subscriber count. Subscriber count, not S. Subscriber count. Okay, and now I want to print sub_count. If I run it, okay, it is now printing 182. This is what we want, right? So right now we can clearly see that we are printing the subscriber related to a particular channel ID. But what we want actually is to print it in the real time, right? So we want to this count to reflect the current subscriber every now and then. So how can we do that? How can we make this a real-time application? So what we will do is we want to refresh the subscriber count every 5 seconds or so, every 4 seconds or every 6 seconds or so. We want to make something random there, right? So what I'll do is actually let us define a function. I want to define a function. Actually, I want to declare. I want to add a new file. This file will be called sub_count.py. And now I will copy this entire code to sub_count.py. Okay, I'm just copying the code. And then down here, I will create a function def get_sub_count. And inside this, I will copy this part. I am just trying to move that code inside a function. But when I copy, this code might get outside of function, right? Right now, d equals to this statement is outside the function block, because to be inside the function block, it has to be in the same indentation level. So to do that, I can just select this code and hit a tab key. If I do tab, then it will go inside the function block. So basically, all of the code have the same indentation level. And then inside that function, I just don't want to print the sub count, but I want to return the sub count. Okay, I returned the sub count. Now basically this function will return me the sub count of a particular YouTube channel. So I will go to the main function. I will just delete everything because I do not need it now, because I have everything written in sub_count.py, right? First of all, what I'll do is I will import that get sub count module, that get sub count function from inside the main.py, because we want to make main.py small. We want to make main.py short. The logic related to counting the subscriber will reside in the sub_count.py, and then we will import from sub_count. We do not need to put .py. Okay, from sub_count input, we will input get_sub_count. Right now, we can just try print get_sub_count. If I run this, it will basically print my subscriber count, but it will print me only one time, right? Now I want to put it inside a loop and then print the subscriber count every now and then. So for that, what I'll do is I will first put a while loop. I will put an infinite loop, and then inside it I will print get_sub_count, right? Actually, I will do current subscribers and then comma get sub count. And then I need to stop for a while, right? I need to stop for some specified amount of time For that I have actually already explained time library, right? Input time. What I'll do is time.sleep. I sleep for 5 seconds. I do nothing for 5 seconds, and then I immediately send the request for a new subscriber count, and I sleep for 5 seconds again, and I send the request again for the new subscribers. So if I run this, it will say the current subscribers 181. Now every 5 seconds it will be updated. So to check this, how can we check this? You guys have to hit that button. Okay guys, let's check this. Is there no one that is not subscribed to my account? Please help me check this code. Actually, I'll take a 1 minute break. I'll come back, okay? Please guys, make it 200 until I come back. I'm back, guys. Actually, it works. It's 184 right now. Okay, if I keep on doing this for infinite time, then actually this is not a good idea, because I just want to stop it and then explain to you. Stop and then explain to you. Okay, here I go. If I go to YouTube Data API page and go to something like the home page, Data API, I should see something like quota. Okay, let's go to guides. Okay, if I go to the bottom here, I can see quota calculator or quota, right? Okay. Now, every query we make, every request we make to the YouTube API will cost us something. Right now we are using the channels resource and we are using list of statistics, right? So every request we make will use the cost of 3, right? Every single request. And then for every account, they provide only, I think, 10,000 or something, something cost per day for one API account. So if I do that infinitely, then YouTube might very well block me, right? If my quota gets exceeded. So I don't want to exceed my quota. That is why I am making my sleep time quite larger, right? So if I do 5 seconds of sleep, that quota will actually provide me some time of around 3 to 4 hours, right? That will serve the purpose of this video. So I'm using 5 seconds right now. Okay, right now this doesn't look so promising, right? This doesn't look so beautiful. what I want to do is, this doesn't look so good. Okay, I want to build a GUI app, right? You know GUI. GUI means graphical user interface. I want to build an interface with the current subscribers, and I don't want it to display something like current or in the console, right? I want it to display in a real app-like window. So to do that, I'm going to teach you how to use Kinter library, the library named Kinter. So for that, I cannot use this Repl.it because this Repl.it cannot run the Kinter code. That is basically because Kinter is a GUI library, and GUI libraries are so much dependent upon the architecture of your system. So that is why I cannot use Kinter library inside this Repl.it. To do the Kinter code, I will have to create a new Repl.it, and they have Kinter available. That is actually a new feature in Repl.it. They have made Kinter available. I will select Kinter and then give the name as GUI subs count, and then I will create a Repl.it. Okay, basically this will simulate a GUI window inside the web browser actually. So what I'll do is I'll first copy that same code I had made. I'll go back. First of all, I'll copy the code. Where is this? Okay, sub count. Actually, I will open sub count. I will Control Alt, Control C. I will copy it, and then I will go back to my account. UI subs count. Inside that, I will create a new file called subs_count.py, and then I'll just paste it here. It will be saved now. Now inside the main.py, I want to build a GUI app. So for that, I have to input Kinter, right? So I will basically from Kinter input asterisk. I will do this. Basically, this will input everything that is inside the Kinter module. Okay. We want to use everything that is inside the Kinter module. We do not want to specify exactly which functions that we want or which classes we want. Actually, we want it to be everything imported to our project. So we will do from Kinter input asterisk. Now to create a window, we will first create an object of a class. Actually, I didn't teach you the object oriented concept because this was supposed to be a beginners friendly class. Actually, object oriented concept is quite not needed here for the purpose of this project. I will do that in intermediate level video or sometime else. Okay, another day. So first of all, I'll have to create the window, right? The window, I will tell it to be window, right? The variable window. Window equals to, I will do tk. tk basically is a class that is inside the Kinter, right? This will basically create a window, a Kinter instance, right? GUI instance. And then I will have to do window dot main loop. Window.main loop will start our application. It will open the window and it will just wait for us to close it, right? It will just wait for us to make some events like a clicking of the mouse or putting some keys there or pressing some keys or if there are buttons, and then the press of the buttons. It will wait for us until we click that cross icon in the window. If we run this, let us see what happens. Okay, we ran this, right? If we run this, we can clearly see here we have opened a small window, right? Inside it there is nothing. Inside it there is nothing. Raj Lamichani says, "Sir, break chahiye." Actually, this is going to end soon, Raj. Actually, I think it won't be more than 3 hours or something. I will take some 10 or 15 minutes more because we are already there. We have already got the data from the API and we are now just building a GUI app to present that. Now what we want to do is we want to put the subscriber count inside this window, right? Actually, if you already had Python installed in your machine, what this would actually look like is, I want to show you that too. For example, if I go inside my Visual Studio Code and then I just open, what do I open actually? Is there something called YouTube subcount? Okay, I open main.py. Okay, if I do something like from Kinter input everything, and then I'll say window equals to tk and window dot main loop, right? If I save this and if I try to run it using first of all I have to go there, right? cd desktop and then going inside YouTube subcount and inside yeah, there is main.py. I have to do python main.py, right? If I do that, it will open a small window for me, right? This is just a window that is similar to a Visual Studio Code window or a Google Chrome window, right? This is a small window. Actually, if you were doing this on your actual machine, this would be what it would seem like. If you were using Windows, actually these buttons will appear here. These graphical user interface applications will be using the native libraries. It will look like a native application. In the Mac OS, it will look like this. These buttons will be visible on the right side. Right now, the console is waiting for us to do something because it is running in the main loop, right? The window is in the main loop. If we hit cross icon here, then only the program will stop. That means the program is in the main loop of the window. Okay, I'll do everything inside Repl.it because I assume that you all are doing it in the Repl.it. So to put something a text inside this window, I will do something like label equals to, and I'll create a label and then bracket. I am creating an object of label, and I will put text equals to, I provide a text. I say something like Bikalpa quotes, right? And then I'll have to say label.pack. Label.pack means take that label and pack it inside the window. You have to put it inside the window, compact, right? I'll stop it and then run it again. Okay, if I run it, you can see something like very small, right? Bikalpa quotes, but that is very, very, very tiny. If I want to increase the size, then I have to do something like label text equals to Bikalpa quotes, and then as a second parameter I pass font equals to, and then I pass a tuple, right? Tuple means inside a parenthesis. I pass something like first parameter Helvetica and second parameter I say 40. That means I want Helvetica font and 40 to be the font size. If I run it, I think that will be big enough for us to see. Yeah, okay, Bikalpa quotes, right? And then let us see what we can do. That is label. I will actually say it as label 1. Label 1 equals to, and label 1.pack. And I'll come down and I'll say label 2 equals to label. I'll put text equals to current subscribers, and then the font equals to, and I pass a tuple. I want it to be on Monaco font. I don't think I think it is available, Monaco font, and then I will give the size as 40, and then to put it inside the window I have to do label2.pack, right? I create a label and then I pack it. I create another label and then I pack it again. I want to run it again. Current subscribers. Actually, it is not showing the font, right? Because I think this font is not available in the Repl.it. Okay, that is not an issue for us. Let us put everything in Helvetica for now. Okay. And now, let's put it back to Monaco. Actually, I will run it afterwards in my Mac as a local native app, and then I'll see if it runs or not. For now, it is all similar. The font are looking similar. So finally, I will also put another label, label3 equals to label text equals to, for text I want to put get underscore sub underscore count, because as a text I want to put the subscriber count, right? And for font I want to put what is the very good font, one of the good font, I think Roboto. I'll put it 50 size, okay? And then label3.pack. I create a label and then I pack it, right? If you guys are having problems, please let me know, right? And then I am using get underscore sub underscore count, but I have not inputted it. To input it, I have to do from subs underscore count input get underscore sub underscore count, right? Because in subs underscore count, I have a function called get underscore sub underscore count. Now I can call get underscore sub underscore count, right? If I try to stop and run it, it will print me the subscribers. I think there is no doubt. Okay. Okay, while inputting, you do not give parentheses, right? You just give the name. I run it. I forgot to put a comma there, right? First parameter, comma, second parameter. Let us see. This is still running. I don't know why this Repl.it is so much slow at some time and so much fast at other time. I don't know. I assume that you are getting it correct, right? What I'll do is I'll first copy this code and then I will run it on my local machine. Okay, that is basically the same thing, right? Doing it one way or other. I'll first of all save the sub count, this one as subs underscore count.py, and then from min I will just copy the code of main. Okay, here I will just stop and try to run it again, hoping that it will run. I don't know what is missing here. Okay, I will go to my main.py and I'll try to run it. If I run it, I'll get something like Bikalpa codes, current subscribers 185. But if someone new subscribes to my account, I will not get it updated, right? Because right now I'm just taking the subscriber count one time and then putting it inside label3 and packing it, right? It will not create requests time and again. So if I want to create a request time and again, I have to do something like updating of count every some seconds, every some 3 or 4 seconds, right? For that, I have to create a function called def update underscore count. This function will do the update of the count, right? So for that, I actually I will define this function down here. Okay. Here I will do something like label 1 dot actually it's not label 1, label 3 dot config, and inside it I will pass text equals to get underscore sub underscore count. What I'm basically telling is that inside the configuration of label 3, which is right now storing the subscriber count, if you can see, this is the label 3 right now, it will put get sub count, it will get new count. The get sub count is defined here. It will take a request and it will create a request and take the new value of the subscribers and then put it in the text parameter. So label 3 will now display the new subscriber count. And finally, what I have to do is I'll have to window dot after some time. The first parameter is ms, how many milliseconds after we want to do something. After 5 let's say 3000 milliseconds, that means after 3 seconds I want to call the function update count again. This is like recursive function, like right, you know, I want to call the same function after 3 seconds, and then the subscriber count will be again updated, and then I'll update the count after 3 seconds, right? So what I'll do here is before calling window dot main loop, I'll just say window dot after 0. That means immediately update the count, right? First of all, we want to immediately update the count, and after that we want to update the count after every 3 seconds. Okay, let us save this and try to run it. First of all, we have to close the current and then try to run it. Okay, I think this is working now. We have to test it. So guys, please hit that button. We want to test it. I'm having confusion. Is my code not working or you guys are not subscribing? This is a great confusion. At least if only one increases, then I can rest assured that the code is working. Hello guys, are you there? Okay, I think someone tried unsubscribing and then subscribing to see the count. Okay, yeah, it works. Yeah, it wasn't the way I wanted, but actually it works. Okay, thank you. Thank you for making it work. Actually, I had the target of reaching 200 in today's stream, but this is way below my target. But anyway, thank you everyone who subscribed. It means a lot to me. So basically, we have just written a GUI application. I think you guys have also written it, in Repl.it IDE. I'm just restarting it so that I can run it. I don't know why this gets so much trouble. Afzal Ali Mia says, I did. Thank you, brother. I will run it again. If this code was having errors, then it would not have worked from my local machine too, right? So I hope I have to rest assured that this code is working. So if you want to take it further, you want to build a PewDiePie versus T-Series subscriber count app too, right? Because only thing you have to do right there is you just have to change the channel ID, right? So you just go to someone's channel ID, and then you grab it, and then you take it and you paste it. Basically, it will give you the subscriber count, the live subscriber count. Let us see. I want to test it with someone of you guys. Whose channel should I test? Guys, give me your channel name. I will search it out, and then I will test it. And then finally we will have Q&A session, and then we will end this stream. Guys, do first. Actually, there is a lag between when I'm speaking and you guys are replying, so there is some lag of 10 or 15 seconds or so. This is so frustrating. Will Sir says Kinter is better or Java AWT? I will say no. No one is better. I will say if you want to use Java, Swing is better than AWT, but you have to compare these two things. These two things are not quite comparable, right? But when I have to tell about Kinter, it is a lightweight library. It is not meant to be a fully featured library. You know, if you want to go with something fully featured, you want to use something else. Libraries like let us see some other libraries in Python. GUI libraries in Python. 13 Python GUI libraries. Okay, let us see. WX widgets is also available via some ports. I think Qt is a very comprehensive library in Python, right? So if you want to basically build something higher level, you want to go with Qt, but actually Kinter is a lightweight library. It is meant to be lightweight. Also, Java AWT is lightweight than Spring, right? Basically, I think I cannot right now. Actually, Will Sir has given me an ID, his account name. So we will let's check with his subscriber count. Okay, let us go to search. I will search Fireship channel. Is this what you meant? I don't know. Is this the channel you meant? Maybe. I will just copy the link address, and then I will go back here and paste it. This is the channel ID. Okay, I will come and paste it here. I will save it. Now I have to change this name. Okay. Oh, Wilson says this. It's not my account name. Actually, please say send me your link. Till that time, Will Sir will send me his account channell link. I will have a Q&A session with you guys. So you can ask me anything related to today's session. Actually, I will just tell a small thing. Actually, you can add buttons in this application. You can add colors to the text. You can make it to the whole next level, right? But this is beginners friendly. It's up to you guys to make it to take it further, and you can make it to object oriented compliant using object oriented programming, classes and objects or something like that, or you would want to use Qt library, or you may want to build a web app with it using the Django or other frameworks. That's totally up to you guys. You can do anything you want with it. Just for the sake of this video, I think I served my purpose. So guys, let's have a Q&A session and ask me anything session, AMA series. You can ask me anything related to computers and programming in general. I will try to answer them. And after the Q&A and AMA series, the stream will be ended. So guys, please let me know if any queries you have. Actually, this shows 37,000 subscribers. You know, because I just copied the channel URL of Fireship. Will sir gave me this, but actually it was just a random channel name he told me. So I'll just undo it, and then I'll just Control C, and I'll run it again. Okay, this will display my subscriber count. I want to put it on top. Can I put it on top? I think not. Can I? Maybe, or maybe not. Services, hide others, hide Python, edit window, bring all to front. Okay, anyway, this will stay here. Jivan Rupata says, I want to know about web scraping. Okay, brother, web scraping actually is a technique where you go to a website, you fetch the HTML contents of the website, and then you basically write the code to go inside the HTML content, and then you fetch some ID with it. For example, if we wanted to do the thing we have done today with the web scraping, we would basically want to go to this site right now, okay, and then we will want to see where this subscribers is coming from, right, by inspecting the elements. So actually this is coming from this one, right? From this one, here is a YT-formatted-string, and then the subscriber count is 185 subscribers. So what we will do is, first of all, we will fetch the HTML page, and then we will try to search a tag named YT-formatted-string. We will search that tag, and then inside it there is a string 185 subscribers. We want to get that, and we want to print that. Okay, but that is not a good idea right now when there is API available, because if YouTube tries to change its code to say this not YT-formatted string, but if it says it as YouTube-formatted string, then our code will break, because our code is too much dependent upon the code of the website. So actually web scraping is actually going inside the HTML contents of a site to actually find the content we want, find the data we want, and then we pull it back using the code, and then use it however we want. Wilser says best project to learn Django. Actually, best project to learn Django is itself the project, the Pulse project given by Django documentation. Actually, the first time I learned Django application, it was by using the Pulse app. You know, if I go to Django documentation, right? If I go to Django documentation, and then here tutorials, there is something called tutorials. Okay, and here you are provided with the tutorial to create a Pulse app. You know, part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and something like that. This is the best way to learn Django, because the Django is such a framework that has very comprehensive documentation. You will have no problem getting into it. Actually, this was the project that I first learned Django from. Will sir, did you get your answer? Guys, and anyone have any queries? I think I'll do some 5 or 10 more minutes and I'll end this stream. You guys can ask any questions. Will sir says reading is boring, lol. Actually, at least not for me, brother. But yeah, some people find reading documentation boring. But actually, what I always tell to my students is the documentation is an ocean of knowledge. If you look upon some tutorial videos, the tutorial producers like me, the content creators like me, are just basically gathering some bucket of water from the ocean and then giving back to you. And if you try to learn from there, you are just getting a spoonful of water from the bucket. But if you try to read the documentation itself, then you have the whole ocean of knowledge in front of you. So whether you want to drink from a bucket or from an ocean, it is totally up to you. So guys, I really recommend you reading the documentation. Wilshire says, bro, why micro frameworks are used to build REST API? Okay, actually, I think that I have not too much experience into building the REST APIs in general, but I think that is due to the REST API being, following the modular programming approach. I think that is the issue here, because REST API should be a complete a different module from what your other services running in your server are. So I have built one REST API using Django framework, but I haven't dived too much into the REST API programming. Actually, I'm more on the front end consuming the REST APIs. So yeah, I may not be on the sufficient privileges to answer your question to the satisfactory boundaries, but actually, in my view, that is the issue, to modularize the code. Wilshire says, thanks for example C and bucket. Thank you. This is the example I give to every student of mine. So guys, do you have any other queries, or should I end the stream now? It's already 3 hours and 18 minutes. I think 3 hours and 20 minutes will be a good time to end it. So you have something like 1 minute and 30 seconds now. If you guys have checked my website, that is bikalpacodes.com. Actually, I created this using React framework. Actually, this is an open source template I have just stuffed in. It is built on React, and I have hosted it on Firebase hosting. I have hosted it on Firebase hosting platform, and then I have another website too, that is bikalpa.com.np, bkalpa.com.np, and actually I have built this using the PHP framework, PHP language. So I right now have two portfolio websites. One is built on totally on the front-end technology, that is React.js technology, and the next is built up in the PHP technology. So yeah, I plan to take this site as a general programming blog, and I plan to create a mobile application for reading the programming contents too. That are to be my projects in the near future. So thanks for asking. So I think, yeah guys, that will be all for this video. So finally showing you the final content, final product of our YouTube project. So this is what we have built. So thank you all guys for staying around. Thank you all guys for subscribing. If you have further more queries, you can just reach to my social media accounts. Basically I have put those in the description box. You can follow me on Facebook as well as Twitter and Instagram, and I will answer your queries then. I will be back with other live stream videos too, and I will be back with data structure series in my YouTube videos too. So I'll see you guys around. Have a nice time, stay safe, see you around, see you next time.